You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with your host, Will Huckabee and Mika Villas.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of the week. It's time for the Wrestling Nerdcast. As usual, this is a fan-sponsored, supported, listened-to podcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Huge shout out to our friends at Pro Wrestling World. Shout outs to our sponsors at Indie Customers. Be sure to check them out on social media. Also, I want to say what's up to my homies over there at Off the Beating Path. Gave me some really cool swag and stuff, some really cool hats and stuff in the shirt a couple weeks ago and stuff, man. And they're actually talking right now. They're in the works to do. Maybe we're talking about doing some business. There might be, an Incredible Hulk inspired clothing line coming out soon. We don't know yet. Anyway, I am your host, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the National Syndicate Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, the National Icon, a reality TV star, the Incredible Hulk, Will Huckabee, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host. It's her birthday weekend, people. She just turned the big 100. She is one half of the world's cutest commentary team. She's the voice of Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment and Lucha Atlanta. She is the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the receiver of all things unsolicited. Miss Chicago Win. She is the Adonis of affection. Mrs. Bobby Tacos, a.k.a. What That Mouth Do, Mika Villas. What up, girl? Happy birthday weekend.
Thank you. I'm alive and awake and semi-sober.
I'm gonna say, yeah, speaking of sober, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't follow Mika on social media, you should have, because it looked like all weekend she was drinking from that good old Himalayan water blessed by Tibetan monks. She had that good old Himalayan water all on the Snapchats.
I was everywhere that people should have been, and there was alcohol. Let me say that Fireball is evil and good at the same time, because I don't know what it is, but I just know how it goes down, and it was crazy.
I'm about to say, I'm not a huge fan of Fireball. Not a whiskey fan overall. But I will say that a friend of mine, a couple years ago, introduced me to Fireball and the apple Snapple drink, the apple flavored Snapple. Yeah, and it's really, really good. So next time I'm close to you or whatever, we'll get some Fireball and some Snapple or whatever. Even the pink lemonade Snapple works really good with Fireball for some reason. But we'll have some of that because I know how much of an alcoholic you are.
Whoa. I am a social drinker. I do not engage in practices that are destructive behavior or have a problem drinking.
Okay. What did you do this weekend besides, how did you celebrate your birthday, girl?
I drank. I started off before midnight on the 17th. At a bar. I drank a lot. Then later that day, I was in North Carolina. There was a private wrestling show, a birthday party / retirement in North Carolina. And it's a gentleman named William Cubitt. He is a huge wrestling fan. His family, he's also retiring from the Army. So happy birthday and congratulations to William. And I was invited to the show because, they know me. We've hung out before. I've hung out with his family at wrestling shows, his wife and his two sons. And let me just tell you, this show was fantastic. There were two people. Well, the whole show was supposed to be booked for him as a surprise, but you know how you guys are. You like to get into meddling and finding out who's supposed to be where and what have you. So he found out a lot of people who were booked for the show because it was supposed to be some of his favorite wrestlers, but two surprises. Yeah, I don't know whose favorite wrestler you are because you're definitely not mine. But anyway, Scorpio Sky was on this show along with Tim Dunn. And I am huge fans of both those guys. I was not expecting him. I was expecting some regular folks that I was used to because it was in North Carolina. It was at Hebron Hall, which is PWX's home base. So I was expecting to see guys that we knew, like the Jim Nasty Boys, Anthony Henry, James Drake, because I know for a fact that these are some of his favorite wrestlers as well. So Tim Dunst and Scorpio Sky, like, that was amazing to watch them. Also, Jamie Senegal was there. I love Jamie Senegal. We need to have him on the show. But yeah, it was amazing.
Remind me to unfriend this guy who had a private wrestling birthday party that didn't invite me. Remind me to block him on Twitter and all of my social media.
I think I was supposed to invite you, but I didn't want to share the pleasure.
My invitation got lost in the mail.
Yes, exactly. Because who does real mail anymore? So I sent it to the trash can. I dropped you off by that one time, but apparently you didn't get it. Anyway, so yeah, that was this weekend with that show, and I just hung out after that. And this weekend was wrestling professional WWE. There was TakeOver Brooklyn and, of course, SummerSlam. So from indie shows to WWE, full-fledged craziness for me.
I'll tell you what, you would have liked to have been where I was at this weekend, man, because I did.
Was there alcohol?
Yeah, I'm about to tell you. I did 2 lucha shows for NRLL. One was in Greensboro, North Carolina. The other one was at a Mexican flea mall / outdoor fiesta where there was like wrestling and bull riding and you could ride horses. Like, it was ridiculous. There was alcohol everywhere. And by alcohol, I mean beer and tequila. So you would have liked it. But defending my AIWF World Heavyweight title 2 days in a row. Had a really good time though. Was just really surprised. Like, Lucha Libre fans are diehard fans, man. And I, first of all, let me go ahead and say this. I'm a huge Lucha Libre fan, even though I don't speak Spanish. But wrestling is universal. And I'm telling you what, man, like, the fans were so outspoken. They were so loud, especially Sunday. And I'm not a huge fan of outdoor shows because the sound just goes everywhere. And you can't get a good feel for the crowd most of the time. But these fans were just loud, and they didn't like us because I was a rudos. And it was a great time. So, huge thank you, NRLL, for having me. Thursday, I was, as usual, I've become a regular for USA Championship Wrestling. If you haven't seen it yet, Mika, I feel like you haven't seen it yet. Have you watched it yet, USA Championship Wrestling?
Yes, I have watched it on Facebook. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'll say I once again had a handicap match against the Cuban mercenary and the Team Cuban. I'm just gonna call them Team Cuban. 2 young guys, very green. The grandkids of the original Cuban assassin. Not the one that lives in Florida right now, the one who passed away. They are the legitimate grandsons of the original Cuban assassin. So they're making their way in professional wrestling. They're still very green. So I'm very fortunate. I was very happy to work with them and stuff. Kind of teach them the ropes and let them know their place so far as it stands. Like, I don't care how famous your granddaddy is, I'll still kick ass. So be sure to check it out. USA Championship Wrestling every Thursday from like 8 to 9. They have a really cool old school setup, the old Jim Crockett Georgia Championship Wrestling studio setup. I love it. I enjoy myself every time I go there. So that was this week for me. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, Mika? Anything you remember in your Tibetan water blessed by your Himalayan water blessed by Tibetan monks fueled weekend? Anything else you remember?
Just one of the things that I remember is, because this sobered me up, as I spoke about Jamie Senegal, Anthony Henry during their...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All over again, girl. There you go.
So that was one of the best, worst ass whoopings I've ever seen. So kudos to both of them, because it takes a lot to give an ass whooping, but it takes even more to get one.
Who was it?
Who
was it? Because you was breaking up. Who was it?
Oh, it was Jamie Senegal and Anthony Henry. Anthony Henry is just a monster, man. He is a beast. I don't know. Oh, and the birthday boy, William, took a chop from James Drake. He was perfectly drunk when he did it, and James Drake left a handprint on this man's chest. I have pictures that I'll post on social media. So to all you fans out there, to all you people who, might stand across from James Drake, if you can avoid a chop from James Drake, I sincerely hope that you do, because the man leaves handprints and it was not pretty. So yeah.
Well, speaking of leaving handprints all over something, tonight's guest, super excited to have her on the show. We're going to talk to her about all things of destruction. That's a good segue. What do you think, Mika? All things destruction.
That was pretty good. There you go.
We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsor. Do you like what you hear? Do you like hearing me and Mika go back and forth between ourselves and talking to some amazing guests from around the world of pro wrestling? Well, then be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Wrestling Nerdcast. Donate everything from $7 and up. And as your donations go up, so do the prize packages. Everything from a follow on social media to joining our exclusive Wrestling Nerdcast Facebook group to being able to book your own podcast with a guest of your choice within reason, people. Because trust and believe, we're not getting Stone Cold or AJ Styles on this podcast. But once again, if you like us, please support us and spread the word. Thank you. Talk to you later. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. It's your host, as usual, the incredible Will Huckabee, chilling here with Mika Villas. And tonight's special guest on the line, been wanting to talk to this lady for such a long time. She's one of my favorite people in professional wrestling. Maybe not just in professional wrestling. She's one of my favorite people in life, period. Every time I see her, whether she's beating somebody up or not, she always has a smile on her face, which shows to me that she enjoys her work. This lady's a two-time big-time wrestling women's champion, a WWW women's champion, the first ever female WWA4 heavyweight champion. So many things that she's done, so many accomplishments. She is the weapon of ass destruction and the master of the damnasia, Dementia Rose. Hey, girl, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Let's get some preliminaries out of the way. Are you a native of Atlanta, Georgia? I've never asked you. Native of Atlanta, Georgia. Trained under the big cat, Curtis Hughes, out of the illustrious WWA4 training facility down there in Atlanta, Georgia.
Actually, that's not quite true per se.
What?
And I know. Yeah. I went to A4 under Mr. Hughes. That's why I met my first trainer, my official trainer, I like to say, Jay Fury. And that's when I went to Platinum Championship Wrestling, and I trained there.
Well, I forgot that you trained with Jay Fury, who to this day has a move that I've still been trying to master and perfect. 10 years later, I still haven't figured out how to do that backflip into the German suplex. But I'm going to figure out how to do it, damn it. Now, let's go ahead. You were always Dementia DeRose. When I first met you, you went by different. You were a lot happier, a lot cheerier. You were Aisha Sunshine, right?
Yeah, I was. Man, I've literally evolved.
Yeah, I remember that. Like 1 minute, you were, bright colors and smiles and happy and Aisha Sunshine, and then the next minute, I see this promo video and stuff, and these pictures of you, and it was a lot darker. You had the steak knife or the big huge butcher knife or whatever, and I was like, what the hell happened to Aisha? And then all of a sudden it was a 180 almost overnight. Why the change in character?
It was just time for a change. The wrestling world was so used to seeing Aisha Sunshine, so I wanted to give off a completely different vibe, and I thought to myself, what better way than be the complete opposite of what I currently am?
Well, you right about that. It's so, I don't know. There's so many things I could talk to you about. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out the way though. What is up with your infatuation with SpongeBob SquarePants? Out of all the things I know about you, Dementia, like that is the one thing that is mind-boggling, is your deep love for SpongeBob SquarePants. Where in the world does that come from?
Well, I just used to watch it as a kid, and a lot of people said that I reminded them of SpongeBob because of the smile. So I just loved it.
I mean, I between SpongeBob SquarePants and Supernatural, which I've learned that you are a huge Supernatural fan as well.
Huge. Yes, I am.
Like I've gotten up. I think I'm up to like season 9 now. I don't know. How many seasons are there? 15, 16?
Well, they're gonna start the season 14 in October, so yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
even
like, wow.
yeah, I even have the anti-concession tattoo, so like I love Supernatural.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hard. Do you have a SpongeBob tattoo?
No. No.
Oh, I'm so disappointed now. Jesus. I would figure you have a SpongeBob. As much as you love SpongeBob, I would assume that you have a SpongeBob inspired tattoo by now.
I thought about
shit.
it. I thought about it.
Well, I'm like 5 seasons behind you on Supernatural.
Oh, dude, you gotta catch up.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, I think I'm on like season 8 because I'm at the part where I guess the little Asian dude, Kevin, the prophet.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I just finished the episode where Sam and Dee finished the first trial out of 3 to close the gates of hell.
Oh yes, that was literally like my favorite season. I love it.
That's your favorite season?
Yeah.
Well, that's the season I've just started. I just finished the episode where they killed one of like the hounds of hell or whatever. I just watched that.
The
episode.
Hellhounds. Yes.
Just finished the episode, man. All right, let's talk about wrestling because that's why people like tune into this. Really, like they want to know about wrestling. Were you a wrestling fan growing up as a kid?
I'm sorry, say what now?
Were you a wrestling fan growing up as a kid?
Oh hell yeah! Like yes, without a doubt. Like I have like 16 brothers and sisters, so like that's all we
Well, how many? Whoa! You can't just say that like that and just keep it. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
16 total. There's 16 of us. So
so what number are you?
I'm right in the middle. I'm number 8.
Wow. How many girls? How many boys? Because Will's blown away. He's got a lot of kids too, and he's like trying to imagine his life with that many children. So how many girls? How many boys?
I think hold on, let's see. I can't think of the number right now. I think there's 10 girls and 6 boys, or it might be 9 girls and 7 boys. Hold on, no.
Uh-oh.
The girls dominate the family. Like there's more females than males.
Yes.
See, like I come from a huge family. I'm the oldest of 11, and there's 6 boys and 5 girls. You know what I'm saying? So I understand having that many siblings. And then I have 5 kids. So like, I'm just a glutton for punishment. Anyway, get back. A huge wrestling fan growing up. Did you wrestle with your brothers and sisters and stuff?
All the time. I had no choice but to.
And who was your favorite? Because everybody always, as a kid, everybody's always their favorite wrestler. So who were you as a kid growing up? What wrestler were you as a kid growing up?
Oh, without a doubt, of course, Rikishi was somebody that I watched a ton. Like he blew my mind away. Like the fact that he was able to, destroy people with his butt. Like that was just literally amazing. And like I've taken so much from him. Of course, Stone Cold really got me into wrestling. I love The Rock and Booker T. Huge fan of Booker T. I used to watch him all the time growing up when he was Harlem Heat. Like watching him do the spinneroonie just like really like blew me away. Like, oh my God, like who is this guy? And I want to be him.
Well, you would never believe this, but obviously everybody knows my favorite wrestler is Arn Anderson. But whenever me and my brothers would ever wrestle, I was always Superfly Jimmy Snuka because I used to love the jump off thing.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm a lot older than you though. But not as old as my co-host that I'm going to pass the mic to, the illustrious Mika Villas. Mika, what do you have for our guest tonight?
First of all, Will, nobody's older than you except for Moses. Y'all were tag teaming back in the day. Y'all both tried to bring the Testament down off the mountain or whatever. But anyway, Dementia. Let's get into wrestling. Let's talk wrestling because Will brought up some things. You're like your brothers and sisters that you've evolved from this previous entity to who I know. I thought I heard it. I was like, whoa, hold on. That's cool. That's interesting. There's so many Wills out there in the world, and Johns and what have you. That's such a unique name. How did you come up with it? Or did you come up with it?
How did I come up with Dementia?
Yeah, the name.
It was honestly, like this was a part of me that the world hasn't seen before because they always say in wrestling who you portray in the ring is either some part of you or the complete opposite. What Aisha was a side that, everybody saw, saw on a regular basis. But Dementia, that was like, I would call my inner She-Hulk. And that was something that I was just, that would rarely get seen. Let's say if I were to get really mad and my inner She-Hulk would come out. So I figured, hey, this would be a good time to portray it in the wrestling ring, give the fans a different side of me that they've never seen before.
Speaking of sides, I think it's probably appropriate that I talk about your backside and not Will, because that might be just a little bit too much.
No, you can talk about it. You can talk about it too.
So let's talk about this weapon of ass destruction. That is one of the things that, other than your smile, that just stand out about you. That was, of course, one of the first things people noticed, and now especially you've got your gear. Everything is kind of fitting and going toward it. Was your backside a big part of your wrestling when you first learned? Was it a hindrance, or do you find it to be helpful, especially now that you're more experienced in the ring? Like, basically, because I feel like people, they expect a lot. Like you brought up Rikishi as an influence. Are people surprised that you move? Because you move quick as hell. Are people surprised at how fast you are and how athletic you are?
But yeah, honestly, my gluteus maximus, or I like to call it my WOD, it was a huge problem for me. Like I was so self-conscious because it's so big, and that's all people would talk about, and it would make me lose focus on my match or whatever I was doing. I would keep trying to pull my gear down or find some way to try and hide it. But it was one day when I was talking to a fellow wrestler in the back, and they told me, they said, yo, you need to embrace it, just tell the world, let the world know, like, yeah, I got a big ass, but you know what I can do with this big ass? I can knock you out with this big ass. I can give you a concussion with this big ass. I can, make your nose bleed with this big ass. So, like, give them other reasons to talk about it other than just it looking nice.
Hey, embrace the ass. That's a a great piece of advice, yes. And it just it sounds crazy, but it's just so true. Pretty much embrace who you are and for everything that you are. I love that. You're such a nice person. Like, every time I see you're smiling, you're happy. And then when you get in the ring, it's a whole totally different mindset. Do you have something that you do pre-match to get you kind of amped or hyped, that you turn that switch and you become, this monster, this killer, this headhunter in the ring? Because I just wonder. I see you before, you're like, hey, see you after, you're like, hey, and I go, man, in the ring, I don't know what happened, but it's amazing, the transformation.
Well, actually, like, right before I get myself ready, the first thing I think about to really get me into my mood is somebody saying that Fred Yehi is not awesome. Like, that's it for me. And I'm like, okay, somebody out here don't think Fred Yehi is awesome, but all right, now I'm really pissed. Now I'm really angry.
Hold on. So, just because I like Fred Yehi, because I'm not trying to die next time I see you. So, if you think that somebody has a anti-Fred Yehi stance, then that brings out the monster within. Is that right?
I'm just joking with you.
I'm just double my fan, because now I'm scared, because I've said some bad stuff. I mean, he did this whole fake proposal thing. I was hot mad that day. So, me and Fred, we cool. I hope we cool. Look, we cool. Don't I see you so many times around the city. Please don't kill me.
No, I'm just joking. Like, that's my inner joke I have with people that really know me. They always say I talk about Fred too much, but I always have to take that moment to say how awesome Fred Yehi is. But no, that's not really what I could get into to get me in my She-Hulk mode. But no, honestly, what really gets me all together is that honestly, it's just the fact that I have this opportunity to, have all these eyes on me and to get them to see why I do what I do. Like, because for years, people have been telling me that I'm too, what I do is too sexual, or what I do is, the fact that I'm not a small girl, or that I'm showing too much skin. And I'm here to show them, like, just because I have curves, that does not mean my body is used just for, sexual pleasure. Like, no, like, I have curves, but they are dangerous curves. And you're going to see why. You're going to see why I do what I do, why I'm as brutal as I am. And you're going to see that my body is just not just something to admire and to say, oh, wow, that's a nice ass right there. Like, I want people, because, like, this is wrestling, and everyone knows sex sells. So me trying to, like, be overly sexualized, that's not a problem for me. Like, I could wear a burlap sack and somebody will still find me attractive. You know what I mean? So that's not even the issue. I'm here to prove that I'm more than just, a black girl with a big butt. Because, we also have that stereotype as well. Oh, black girls with big asses. That's all they're known for. But I'm here to show, like, my butt is literally a weapon of ass destruction that can cause some serious damage if you get in my way. And if you are in my way, you're going to find out. And then you're going to find out why you should never trust a big butt and a smile.
Hello, I love that. Speaking of somebody who I would love to see take the damnesia, I'm going to pass you back to Mr. Huckabee. Because, I mean, he talks a big game, but I think you would mess him up.
I'm surprised he's never taken it. Like, wow. Like, I'm literally shocked he's never taken the damnesia before.
No, I'm not taking that move. I love you to death, girl, but guess what? I will punch you in the face. Okay.
Now you have to take it. Now you have to take it. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm literally upset at myself that you've never taken the damn before, as long as we've known each other.
No. And you know what? First of all, I'm not getting in the ring with you, okay? You know why? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Here's why. Because, we've known each other for about 5-6 years now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When I first started coming to Georgia, there was 3 matches that I saw that really blew my mind when it came to Georgia wrestling in particular. There was that match that Jay Fury had when he did the backflip into the bridging German suplex. It was Shane Marks, I want to say, versus Samoa Joe. And then a couple weeks later, I saw you versus Pandora in what was said at the time to be the first time ever in the South, the first time 2 females had a first blood cage. All right. To this day, that is probably one of the most physically violent matches I've seen, not just between 2 females, but between 2 wrestlers, period. And that was years ago. What was it like being in that match?
Honestly, it was really nothing special. I mean, not trying to downplay it, but like.
First of all, don't even try to be humble, okay? Because you ladies beat the piss out of each other. So you can go ahead. You have to be humble, right?
Honestly, it really didn't. For me, it didn't really do much for me personally for my career because like it was I don't know, I just didn't feel that it elevated at all. I would say one match that really pushed me to my limit was the one that I had with Mickey Knuckles against Mickey Knuckles. That match just like made me have to really bring my A game. Like that match was like literally the turning point.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is just me personally. Like I consider you a friend, and you are everywhere, and you've beaten everybody. You're in the ring with so many great female wrestlers. It's Sean and Shimmer and Girl Fight, IWA Mid-South, and you've beaten a couple of people and Ashton Starr at AWE for their Raw division and stuff. Do you feel like you get the credit that you deserve?
Well, it's like honestly, it's like what my current trainer Air Fox told me. He said wrestling owes anybody nothing. It owes nobody any. Be grateful for what you have